Hey everyone, welcome back to Business Garden. This is the Thing About Money podcast. This is our second episode. We're glad you guys are back with us. In today's episode, Sean and I thought we'd do something pretty interesting. We're going to share, Sean's going to share one and I'm going to share one different website, a different tool that him and I use every once in a while to check up on things. So we're going to jump right into it. Sean, I'm going to pass it over to you to start, and please introduce to us the tool that you're going to be showing to everyone today.
Great. So the tool that I typically use often is economic calendar. To some people, they know and they think this is a simple tool. To others, it may be new to them, but it's a core tool to know when you're an investor, and I'll tell you the reasons why. One, it gives you the dates and the times when key data is going to be announced to the public. So that data could be interest rates and if they're going to be rising or falling. It could be the announcement of what the GDP will be. It could be consumer sentiment and a host of other key data points that will affect the market once that information is announced.
And you're using a website called marketwatch.com, right, to find this?
Yeah, there's numerous calendars. I use a few, two of them being MarketWatch and also FinViz, and they both sometimes they have different sets of announcements that I'll use, and it's good to just cross-reference and check different sources. You should never really rely on one source for all your information. So I'll rely on this and a couple others. I will link them below. So check out the description to see the links of these economic calendars. Some upcoming announcements will be next week is the initial jobless claims. That's always a big deal, especially in the age that we're living in with such a high unemployment rate. These numbers are important to track, even though you would assume that because there is such high unemployment, the market would go down, but the exact opposite has been occurring. But regardless, these numbers are still good to find out and to learn about. Another number that's always good to find out about is consumer spending.
Sean, I think this is a really great tool because it helps you keep an eye on the macro picture, the economic picture. And even though you may be trading individual equities and you may not always, like you just mentioned, there may not always be a correlation between poor economic data and poor stock performance. Sometimes they diverge. It's still really important to have a good overall grasp, and also really, really important to have an knowledge of numbers that may be upcoming if you are doing something like day trading or options trading, because they can cause unexpected big swings in your positions if you weren't aware that these reports were coming out that day.
Absolutely. As a day trader or a frequent trader in the markets, this information is critical and is a necessity for any day trader's tool belt. But even as a casual trader, long-term trader, to learn about a good entry, also to just gauge the overall performance of the market, these numbers are important to find out about. You don't want to necessarily be a buyer in a bear market. So these numbers are an important indicator of what the overall health of the economy as well as the stock market is. So Gab, this is the tool that I had to present today. And I think it's definitely one of those tools that you need to have and understand and to follow on a regular basis. I know you have a special tool that you're going to be talking about right now, so I'll kick it off to you to talk about.
Yeah. So the tool that I'm going to show is actually something I had put in a stocks chat that you and I are in. And when I put it in there, a bunch of people kind of commented, "Oh, you've been holding back on
Everybody
us."
was going wild when you released this. This
Well, I
was
can't
this
believe
was
you
a
didn't
great
tell us
tool.
about this. And people seem to find it pretty
My
interesting.
eyes were popping.
So what I'm sharing with you guys today is a tool called the Senate Stock Watcher. And it's a really simple tool. The basics of what it does is it aggregates data of the public filings of senators and displays them in a nice and easily digestible way for you. So the website is pretty minimalistic and displays things in these nice tiles for you. I'll take you guys through piece by piece just so you have a clear picture of everything that's going on the site, and you guys can feel free to use it your way. I like to look at it every once in a while. You know, right now we have some senators in the news, and every once in a while it happens, senators in the news for being investigated about their trading practices, and there's always interesting controversies that come up. So it's really nice to have your eye on something like this. Real quick on the sidebar, the creator of the site introduces the site, basically says what this is, and the whole sentence that sums it up for me is right here. This website compiles publicly available information in a format that's easier to digest than the original source.
So,
And yeah.
so this tool, it aggregates information from the Stock Act, which was enacted a few years ago. I think in 2012. I'm not sure the exact date, but before this law was signed, it was legal to engage in insider trading by a politician or a congressman or a senator. Is that right?
Yeah, Sean, that's exactly right. So I think the Stock Act was passed in 2012, and that act, but prior to that act, the logic was that senators are so involved in all of American commerce and have access to so much material non-public information that it's unfair to ask them. They would be barred from trading just about anything because they have inside information on everything. Obviously, that logic is a little ridiculous. And finally, in 2012, we were able to do away with that system. And now senators have to disclose not only their trading practices, but also their spouses' trading practices, you know, anyone close to them. And that has to be public information so that we can keep an eye on their trading. And that's what this website does. It
It's
aggregates that information.
it's unbelievable to think that this logic was acceptable. It seems like it's ripe for corruption.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you had senators who on payroll were making measly salaries, but were multimillionaires, and it happens pretty frequently. But hopefully we're trending in the right direction. And this website is a cool idea, not only to monitor if you're a political person, kind of monitor your politicians and make sure they're staying in lane, but also potentially to ride the coattails of big swings. And if you notice that a bunch of senators are dumping in a certain sector, you may want to follow those trades, or who knows what you can do with this information, but it's nice that it's displayed out for you. So what it shows you here is the daily summary. So this is a daily transaction report for May 14th, for example. The filings don't happen every single day, so it's not updated every single day, but I can jump around on the calendar and go to any date. Let's say I want to go to May 8th. So this brings me to May 8th. It shows me that 191 trades were made. Those trades were made by 2 senators, and it actually gives me a breakdown of what each senator, what their trades did. So it gives me the trade totals, it gives me the buy sell ratio, so there was a lot more selling than buying on that day. Most of the trading came from this senator Perdue, and he did mostly selling on May 8th. 92% of it was sold. And then if you go down, it shows you the trader details. Let's say I want to look at David Perdue's trades. It shows me all the tickers that were traded, the range of the amounts that he traded within, and it gives me the type of trade. So it'll tell me this was a partial sale of his position, it was a full sale of his position, or it was a purchase of a new position. So you can see it by ticker. And then it also shows me for any given day the top 5 tickers that were traded on that day. And not only can I do this in a daily view, if I come over to the calendar and do a custom summary, I can pick different dates. So let's say I wanted to look at all of May from May 1st, so this month. Instead of going day by day, it'll show me the whole view for the entire month. And it'll show me every senator that traded that month, their ratio of buys and sells. And then each individual senator I can go to and look at all of the tickers that they traded on. And I can see the most active tickers that were traded. So for example, this month, by all these different senators, Netflix, Apple, and Disney were the most traded tickers that month. And then you can look into each ticker's specific history if I wanted to look at it ticker by ticker. And then there's a bunch of other things you can view. You can export all the daily reports and export the raw data as well. So a lot of my friends I know found this to be a really cool and interesting tool. I hope you guys find it to be a really cool and interesting tool. And this way we can keep an eye on our politicians and how they're trading.
Yeah, Gab, this is a great find, and just seeing like their overall sentiment of a politician that's privy to insider information can give you that slight edge to help you profit in the market.
Yeah. Look, I think it's akin to looking at a hedge fund manager or a big investor's trades, right? Because whether it's inside information they're trading on or not, they have access to resources and information at a much deeper level than we do. They have access to policies that may be coming up. Even if it is public information, it may not be things that the average person is paying attention to or has really educated themselves on, and they may be more educated and have a better understanding of the landscape. So whether it's inside information or not, I think it's really the same way you would be interested in what Jamie Dimon or Warren Buffett is trading, or any big investor, how they're moving and how they're situating themselves. It's equally interesting to see how politicians and our senators are trading.
It's great. Well, if you guys like these tools and you found this informative, smash that like button. It helps us tremendously with building the channel and being in Google's favor when they consider us in their algorithms. If you have any comments on what we should post next week, please let us know. And also, if you have any tools that you would like to recommend, let us know about it, and we'll definitely share and also give our opinion about it. So again, we want to start a conversation. We want to create a dialogue. Hit us in the comments, or you can always private message us. And thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week.